Just your average everyday trucker, keeping it real. I'm your host, Chris Blodgett, and you're listening to Real Talk Tuesday. Today's topic is going to be motivational struggles. This is episode 99. Once again, guys, welcome. Appreciate you being here. The inspiration for tonight's topic kind of comes from, obviously, like always, personal experience. Have you ever had those occasions? And I probably don't even need to ask, but hey, But how many of us out here have had those moments in life, those days when you really either you want to do something or you need to do something, but for whatever reason you just can't seem to bring yourself to do it. Like, it could be getting ready to go to work. Getting up out of bed, getting ready to go to work. It could be getting started on a project. Hell, it could be planning something. Maybe there's something you're getting ready to do and you gotta plan it out. Hell, it could be a conversation that you want to have with somebody. Like, maybe there's something important you guys need to talk about, but you end up finding yourself struggling to actually kick yourself and get yourself to do it. And it's tough in those situations because there's almost like I've noticed, for me, I know it's especially difficult sometimes when, like, probably one of the worst situation that would cause it, like, make it the hardest for me would be when I'm tired, because like I'll get back, especially like if I run I'm actually running a normal route the last couple days, so that's been nice. Actually getting back when it's still dark and being able to go to bed while it's still dark, versus like when I'm not running my normal route, he has me coming in at like 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and I'm getting back to the hub at like 9 or 9:30, 10 the next morning, depending on what I'm doing. Like if I'm running a double Huntsville, then I'm usually, there's been days I've gone to bed at noon, gotten back up at 9 o'clock, got ready, get back to work. Those days when I get back to the hub at like 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, I get back to the hub and it's very tempting. Like I'll literally park the truck and I'll put my phone out and I'll either pull TikTok or Instagram or whatever, and watch some reels or whatever. And just basically, it's very tempting to just sit there, keep scrolling, keep watching these reels, whatever, until I tell myself, okay, I really need to get home. It's like, I can't keep sitting here doing this. I gotta get home, you know. And so I have to literally force myself to put the phone down, go ahead, log off the computer in the truck, grab my stuff, head over to the RAM, and basically get ready to head home, you know. But I have that struggle probably at least once a week, if not a couple times a week during my work week. Like I'll park the truck and I'll be telling myself I gotta get home, I gotta get to bed, you know, I'm tired as hell, blah blah blah, and yeah, I'll still sit there and just kind of keep scrolling, and it's like I can't help it, you know. I don't know what, and it's not. I wouldn't say that's necessarily being lazy, even though I'm not gonna argue that there's times where I'm like, I'm so lazy right now. You know, because when you work, depending on what you do for your line of work, if you quite literally work your ass off, then, and you know, whether it's in the trucking field, doctors, hell, I could, like, if doctors and nurses and whatever, if y'all were to sit around and not want to do anything for a couple minutes and just scroll your phone because I'm so lazy right now, I'd be like, I get it, I totally understand. You know, because, you know, when your schedule is hectic, keeps you busy a lot, but there's not a whole lot of like downtime and free time and whatever. I would not argue with them at all. Like if I saw them trying to just basically be lazy for about 5 or 10 minutes, yeah, go for it. You know, like that's why when I'm off on my days off, I very much enjoy cracking open the adult beverages, sitting on my recliner, watching Netflix, literally just chilling out, like not doing anything. That's why I love the side business I do, the fact that it's like 1 to 2 hour work day, even though for me lately it's like I can get it done in like 30 or 40 minutes because I just do my couple pieces of content and I go live for about 15-20 minutes, and then basically I'm done for the day. I've shared it everywhere. I'm good, you know. But that's another area where I find myself some days struggling to actually do what I have to do, because like I'll be sitting around, sitting in front of the TV with the wife. Like she'll be putting on whatever shows or whatever, because when we're watching TV together, usually I'm not the one choosing the show. She has the remote, so she's putting on whatever basically she wants. You know, it's not a, hey, what should we watch? No, it's, hey, I'm going to put this YouTube thing on, or I'm going to put this on. I'm like, okay, I'm used to it by now. I've been married to her we've been married for 17 years. So I'm used to it. Like I get to pick my stuff when she goes up to go to bed. She hands me the remote. So it's like, cool, all right, I can put on a Netflix. Because I'm all about movies. I don't really like to watch the different news channels on that, or the supposed, YouTube news channels and stuff. Even though, yeah, they have good information, but when it's not an official news station, it's actually, but yeah, some of the news stations, yeah. Okay. We won't really go to that. But she likes to watch a lot of stuff like that, like random little documentaries, and she, little like certain people's YouTube channels that she likes to tune on to watch what they're talking about or whatever. Me, I'm like, if she hands me the remote, I'm like, all right, what movie we're gonna watch? Sometimes I can basically, I'll be like, hey, any chance we can put a movie on? And she'll go, all right, sure. And she'll go find a movie. Again, it's mostly her picking. To make sure she'll go pick a movie. She goes, oh, I've been meaning to watch this with you. I'm like, oh, all right. Most of the time for me, a movie's a movie. I don't care, The only thing that can make it better is it's popcorn or whatever, But I'll be sitting there watching, whatever on TV with her, like whether it's a YouTube video or a documentary she's watching about something, just hanging out pretty much. And I will have not done my 3 short videos, done my live yet for my business. And in the back of my mind, I'm telling myself, I really need to do that. It's like, I'm slacking off. I need to do my stuff, because something like, to get, like, when you're working on growing anything, like business, or when you're working on your health or whatever, the only way to really actually end up eventually having the results you want is to be consistent with it. And so I'm doing my best, doing my best to be consistent. And that's why I keep saying I'm taking consistent daily action, with business, because I'm looking forward to me having options, being able to eventually, hopefully, be a full-time podcast host, work from home, eventually have the, be a full-time, self-employed entrepreneur online, be making really good money by doing what I'm doing online, and not have to come out here and be basically working my life away doing what I'm currently doing, even though, don't get me wrong, like, I would still travel because I've always loved the driving part. I've always been really good at doing the long distances and stuff. I don't know what I would do, honestly, if I had the option to not do this, but there may be a possibility that I would still do this, but I'd probably, like I said, be able to afford to actually take like a week off every 1.5, 2 months, like take a full week off, so that's honestly, that's the least I would do if I didn't fully come out of the job, is I would be taking a lot more vacations. It'd probably piss my boss off, because instead of me quitting, I would literally, every 1.5, 2 months, I'd be gone for a week or so, and he'd be like, "You're always taking time off." I'd be like, "Yeah, well," especially if I'm working overnights and stuff, I'd be like, "Dude, you kill me on these fucking overnights." Getting back at 10 in the morning. The worst part about working those night shifts is at least I'm grateful for the fact that technically, by the time of this episode's being recorded, tomorrow's technically my first day off, because I'm off Sunday, Monday, and I'm actually gonna get. I might need literally half an hour from Nashville, so I'll be getting home 2:30 in the morning. And my daughter is working tomorrow, but she's not working at 6. She's working noon. So she asked if she was actually off tomorrow, but she had asked me a couple days back when I had started this week and I was doing my normal route. Hey, would it be okay if I took a shift on Sunday starting at noon? Would you be willing to watch the toddler tyrant? That's a nickname for the for the grandkid, when they're, because basically, how, I don't know if you guys have ever heard that term, where it's the 5-year-old or younger, they want what they want and stuff. He's fun because he'll ask for something that we don't have. Can I have some cake, Papa? It's my nickname. It's the grandpa, it's Papa. P-A-W. My wife claimed the nickname. I spelled it because I was fine with Grandpa. I'd be fine with being called Grandpa, but she was like Nana and Papa. Okay, so when I talk about myself as far as with my grandkid, I'm like, Papa, P-A-W. I'm sure I think others have actually spelled it that way too from what I saw online, but grandkiddo, Papa, can I get some cake? I don't have any cake, baby boy. Aw, but I want some. Well, I understand you want some, but we don't have any. But I want some. We'll go on. We can literally go on like that for probably all day, but at least 20 or 30 minutes. We can just go back and forth. And if my daughter's in the room, if she's sitting nearby, and me and the grandkiddo are going back and forth, Papa, but I want some. I'll be like, we don't have any though. Sorry, but I want some. And then all of a sudden, after a while, because I'll kind of chuckle and I'll look over my daughter and she'll kind of chuckle and we'll just keep going back and forth. But I want some. I understand that, baby boy, but we don't have any. Oh, but I want some. I want some cake. Okay, that's great. I understand you want some. Me and Mama and Nana, we want 7 figures in our bank account, not have to actually go to work, but we can't all get what we want right now, so. But we don't have any, so we'll probably get some cake and a little cake sometime, baby. Oh, but I want some. That's when, of course, Mama steps in. Hey, we don't have any cake. Now, please, you need to stop asking. Okay. I'm just like chuckling because I'm like, it's kind of a funny interaction just because, you could say, no, we don't have any for a while, but I want some. I love the kid with a death though. It's funny. But, so, yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought for a second. Got too much of the Grand Kiddo stories. But I will usually be, like the last couple weekends, she was working at 6, and so I literally was getting home at like 9 or 10, and by that point he was kind of starting to wake up. He'd be up at like 8ish, 9ish. Basically she just let him sleep, so that way like he wouldn't wake up and be, because his auntie is upstairs, but I would get home while they're both asleep, and I would just stay awake. I'd get him up, get him dressed, get him fed, or potty training and all that fun stuff. But, and then go to probably lay down at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon and go take a 3 or 4 hour nap because I didn't want to sleep all night, because I usually so used to working the overnights that I would try to stay up a little bit. But thankfully this week, when she asked me about it a couple days back, I was like, I hope I run my normal route Saturday, because then I'll just get home at like dark 30 and not really, waste a lot of time and literally just try to go right to bed, get what sleep I can, since she works at noon and I could probably sleep till like 11. So I figured I'm not too worried about it, because it'll be like at least 6 or 7 hours, But part of the inspiration for this episode's topic was kind of moving along down the road tonight and thinking to myself, what do I want Tuesday's Real Talk episode to be about? Because I kind of want it to be about something that I think a lot of people could probably relate to. And so I'm pretty sure a lot of us out here, no matter what we're doing, whether a driver, working a regular job, work from home, I'm sure a lot of us can actually relate. I'm sure laziness is a big thing for a lot of us. Like, especially those of us that if we work like a crap schedule, a ton of hours, and let's say we're not getting enough sleep ever, and so then you have the down moments. So you're relaxing, you're just kind of chilling out. There's something you got to technically take care of, but you're enjoying the downtime. You're going, I know I need to do this. I know I need to take care of such and such. But I'm kind of, just putting it off. And you put it off enough to where then you're like, man, it's too late. I don't know if I can do it tonight. I'll have to do it tomorrow. That was one thing that occurred to me as far as getting this episode recorded, because I know that technically I gotta plan ahead and really I gotta be proactive this next week, because in like not quite 2 weeks, probably like a week and a half, we'll be actually taking a little trip for the 4th out to Kansas or whatever. And so it's like I might have to, basically what my thought process is, I'm thinking about trying to be proactive, be ahead, work ahead, kind of, when you know that you might have a lot of downtime, but you don't know if you're gonna be motivated enough to actually get crap done. So I'm thinking I might have to work ahead so that I can at least have Real Talk and a story already set up for that week, so I don't have to be over there in Kansas and be like, I gotta sneak off over here and record something, get an episode recorded. Even though I could probably do it, I could probably figure it out, but will I? That's where I'm like, I know that most of the time I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna just sit over here and just relax and be lazy as hell. And it sucks because, technically there are times where I have, like, for instance, I'm off tomorrow or off Monday. So there is time to do it, but that's kind of why that's why lately I've been doing the stories, what I call freestyle. because even on my days off, yeah, technically I can get my computer out and probably try to write, but most of the time I'm involved in other things, just spending time with the fam, because during the week I might not see him very much, because of our schedules. So it's like I'm home going, I really need to get the computer out and do something, or I really need to get some videos, get some content created for the business, or I need to do such and such. But ends up not being high on the list, so yeah, it's one of those things. Like, but I'm sure I would imagine, because I'm not going to assume, but I would imagine that a lot of us have, no matter what our line of work, no matter what we're doing in life, a lot of us probably have similar difficulties when it comes to when you finally have free time and I still need to take care of a certain thing, you need to do this, you need to do that you end up having difficulty to actually get off your ass and do it. For the best way I could really describe it. I was trying to think, all right, what's the best word I can use? Basically, get off your ass and do it is what came to mind. Because most of the time, I don't want to do it. Hell, like when I said, like, when I mentioned those couple of examples, like, for instance, getting out of bed, getting ready for work. I've had days where, like, I wake up, I sit up in bed, and even though, yeah, I'm seeing success in my business, things are happening, my leads are growing, my email list is growing, my follower count is growing, then having seeing results with this podcast, like the more, because I'm taking it, this isn't a daily effort with this is more like, obviously, like making sure that I'm making the effort to have the episodes posted when I say they're going to post, so making sure that they're always posting between 5 and 6 on Tuesdays and Fridays, making sure that I have a story for you guys each week, because, sometimes coming up with a story, I'm like, I struggle with that this week. It was, I was like, all right, what kind of story do I want to tell? I don't even know where to start. I don't know what kind of, so I just that's literally the struggle I have, especially when it comes to trying to come up with a story for this podcast, is, first, well, for one, I start thinking of, like, character names. I start, okay, what characters are going to be in the story? All right, what's going to be, like, what are we going to do? Like, what's the story going to start out to be about, whatever. And I literally, a lot of times, when you guys are hearing me tell a story on here, I've literally, like, the only part I really thought of was kind of the beginning. Like, the beginning part of the story, like, maybe the initial start, with an idea of where I want to go from there, but for the most part, I just know the beginning part. And then from there, as I'm telling the story, it's just flowing. Like, I'm just letting the ideas flow, and the story's just coming out. And then I get to a part later on the story where, in my mind, as I'm telling the story, I'm starting to see, kind of envision, not only where I'm at currently in the story, but by that point, I'm able to see, okay, I can close it out by this point. Like, I can kind of tell, like, all right, if I have such and such happen, and this happens, and then the case solved, or they live happily ever after at this point, that's why I want to say, like, working on my skills as a storyteller, because like, it's not an easy thing. Like, you guys have tried to actually randomly come up with stories off the top of your head, just with nothing, like with no idea what you want to talk about. It's not easy to do. But I'll admit, though, I am always pleasantly surprised, at least for the most part lately, whenever I tell a story, and even while I'm telling the story, and I'm thinking to myself as I'm telling the story, like, I hope this sounds good. And then, when the episode finally, because then I get it edited, get the background music, all that stuff, put in there, the intro, sound effects, and all that stuff. And then I get it scheduled for that day, and then when it posts, I actually am one of the listeners myself. Like, I'll go and bring up my Spotify, because I'm following my own podcast on Spotify, and I'll go ahead and listen to my episode. And I'll kind of see, and I have had moments, I've had weeks where I realize while listening to it, that I screwed up somewhere. Like, didn't, you know, do this one little edit, didn't do that, whatever, and I'll listen to it, I catch it, and I go, oh crap. So I'm able to bring it up, back in my editor or whatever, get it, correct what I corrected, re-save it, and then re-upload it back to the podcast host. And it, I'm glad that technically it's not like it disrupts it, being available and all. Like anybody listening to it at the current moment wouldn't notice it, but like anybody else who listened to it, it would basically just the edits be corrected, but they wouldn't be. They're usually subtle stuff that you guys wouldn't even realize probably. So it's not like I have had very obvious things where somehow there was like, 2 tracks, and so like there was an echo, so you're hearing me talk twice, and I heard that, went, oh crap, went corrected it really quick, and then re-uploaded, and within half an hour it was fixed. Like I noticed it, gave it a little bit of time to update with the different platforms, and then it was. So I was like, well, crap, I hope, people who tried to listen to it just now come back and listen to it again. But that's one thing I'll struggle with motivation to do too. Like I'll have the episode recorded, before, I'll have it done early, like try to do it ahead of time like I'm doing right now. And I just have to then get it edited and scheduled, like post it to be scheduled for that time on Tuesday night or Friday night. But usually it's like I'll do it right now, and then I'll have to find a time to get it edited and uploaded before Tuesday, so that way it can be scheduled and ready to go. But I've had weeks where like I had it, technically recorded, but then I, sometime Tuesday before I left to go to work, I would really like go ahead rush to get it edited, uploaded, scheduled for that night, because I don't want to be, obviously can't be doing it while I'm on the move out here or whatever. That's a little difficult. Recording is one thing while I'm on the move, but trying to actually do like edits and stuff, yeah, that's hard. I don't try to do that because, unsafe, but I could easily, while I'm going down the road, have a headset, hit record, that's not a problem. But being able to edit it and stuff at home before, the date that I'm planning to get it to post, sometimes I'll struggle with the motivation with that. Like I'll just be doing other stuff, be like, I really need to do this episode stuff, and doing the business stuff or whatever. So like this week, I kind of was a little bit proactive with that too, because I know that some nights, I might, be a little lazy and struggle with it to be motivated to do it. So this week, when I started my work week, what I did was, like Monday night before I was going back to work on Tuesday, I went ahead and I got a couple of the short videos that I do for my business. Got those all set up. Didn't upload them, didn't post them anywhere. But I got, I think I had a set for, a set for Monday night, and I had a set for Tuesday. So I went ahead and uploaded the 2 for Monday night, got those posted everywhere. And then, Tuesday before I left work, I got those posted everywhere. And so Tuesday, all I had to do was basically get a couple of them set up for Wednesday, so that way I was already a day ahead. And then all I had to do was basically do what I normally do each night. Most nights anyway, where I go live for like 15 to 20 minutes. And it's always interesting when I watch like what people that are driving around me are doing. So I had this pickup truck with, it's all raised up, kind of jacked up or whatever, and it's really loud, so I had the loud muffler on it. Talking like it drives by and you hear, like, oh. But they passed me, they got in front of me, because I'm in the middle lane, because there's a right, like, slow truck lane, but I've literally got a single pup behind me, so I'm literally going the speed limit. I'm at the right lane for the truck lane usually is if you're slowing down because you got a lot of weight behind you, you get in that lane spinning capacity. I don't worry about it if I'm keeping speed. Like if I'm not slowing down, I stay in the regular lanes that don't end. But he passed me, he got the right lane, and then all of a sudden he slowed down, and I started to gain on him, even though it was a lane over from him, but I kind of just felt a little bit off, so I went ahead and I came off the cruise, and I backed off a little bit. Then he heard him sped back up, disappeared off in the distance again. So I was like, yep, you go ahead. I was like, if I have any reservations about a vehicle driving erratically or something out here, I just back off and say, you go ahead, you stay up there, you know. Or if they're going really slow, I'll just pass them and put some distance, you know. But it's like, you know, it's like when people have road rage and stuff, I'm like, you know, it's not worth it. Like, if somebody does something, yeah, I mean, I might be tempted to give them the bird, but for the most part, I just basically just say, nope, not worth it. I'm not going to mess with them, you know, because you could do something, give the bird, whatever, all of a sudden pisses them off, all of a sudden they're trying to run you off the road, so it's just not worth it, you know. My wife likes to yell out of the cars. I haven't been in the, I mean, I don't know if she does it as much anymore, but I know she used to. I'd be in the car with her, or someone would cut us off. She'd just start screaming, motherfucker! And I literally look at her, his windows are all up. And I'm like, you know they can't hear you, right? I don't care. Okay. I'll just look away, like, all right, okay, you do you. I ain't gonna argue with you. Like, you know, all right, okay, fine, whatever. But yeah, you know, so whether it's getting up to go to work, I know we've all probably had that same laziness when trying to do assignments for school in the past, you know, whether it's when you're in like regular school, like high school, whatever. Or for me, it was like I've done college classes as an adult, like back in like I think I did like 2011 for like a couple years because I got an associate's degree. Did an online degree with University of Phoenix. Basically, that's part of why I blame that for kind of as a partial reason why we don't have a house yet, because I haven't used that degree. I got the degree, but it was in like hospitality, and of course, my plan was to get into like hotels or apartment complexes, and a lot of those places, when I would interview in a couple of them, trying to get into one of those fields. Oh, well, you don't have any experience. Yeah, that's why I'm applying. I'm trying to get experience. Well, yeah, but we only hire people with experience. Okay, well, if I can't get hired anywhere, how do I get the experience you guys require? Well, that doesn't have anything to do with us. Well, yeah, it does. Because, like, you guys could hire me, give me a chance, and then, experience. It's like being a trucker. Like, yeah, a lot of places kind of require experience, but there's a lot of trucking companies that will actually let you, especially if they have the training from when you come in, you can go out with the trainer for like a month or two, and then work for them for like 6 months, and then there's places that you can drive locally that, after 6 months, you can come in and work for them, and then that's why, like, with all my experience, 12 years, I can actually go. Like, I can leave my job probably tomorrow, and I could, probably within a day. Actually, since we're going on a Sunday right now, so technically, like, if I would have quit, like, today or yesterday, I could probably be in orientation with a new company on Monday. Because there's a lot of companies that there's a shortage of drivers everywhere. But, so. But, that's because that's. I've got the experience now, but back to the, like I said, I keep getting off on tangents, but I've done, when I was doing the school, I guess that counts, I know what I was going with that. When I was doing the online degree, doing 600 miles a day, then I would park for my 10-hour break, I would go, grab something to eat, do laundry, get a shower or whatever, come back to the truck, probably have to spend a couple hours working on assignments on my computer, connected to my the internet with my phone, and then basically go to bed and get whatever sleep I could before getting up the next day to do it again. But there were nights where I was like, so tired, I was like, man, I just want to go to bed, I don't want to actually, I don't want to do this tonight. I want to just sleep. Maybe I'll just do it tomorrow. But if I didn't do it, didn't turn it in, then I either wouldn't get a grade for that, or they would give me a 0. Because usually, as you guys know, school assignments usually are due by a certain date. So you can't just really put it off. And take doing stuff in the business, for example. If I may not have the results that I'm ultimately after yet, but I know, but what I'm always preaching is that gotta take daily action, gotta keep at it, and then things will happen eventually as long as you keep doing what you're doing. Now I know they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. But if what you're doing is working for the most part, it's just not having the results that you want, but you are seeing results. Like you're not quite there, but you can see that things are happening. Then in that case, it's not insanity because you are seeing results. Things are actually moving up. Things are happening. Things are moving, and you just have to keep going, and eventually it's going to take off. So I have to keep telling myself that, one of the things I'm always saying is we only fail if we quit and give up, or quit, give up, and walk away. So like, if you're working on something and you're seeing some results, but you're maybe not there where you want to be, so you eventually just say, screw it. I'm not gonna get there. Like these other people are having better results than I am right now. Fuck it, it's not worth it. I'm just gonna quit. Well, I don't know about you guys, but even though I make decent money doing what I'm doing, financially, I'm not in a place. I'm not where I want to be right now. Like I'm not anywhere close to where I want to be right now. And that's why I'm doing things like, for instance, trying to be consistent working on this podcast to eventually, and I'll be honest, things like with this podcast where I know there's things like being able to get sponsored, have advertisements and stuff like that, being able to literally be a full-time podcast host. I have no clue how the hell I'm going to pull that off. But it's one of the things that I'm like, you know what, eventually, maybe it's like years down the line, but eventually maybe I'll be, hey, cool, I've got this really successful podcast. I know I'm doing better than I was when I started. And the only reason I am where I am today on the podcast, as far as like the number of downloads I now get every day, is because I've continued to try to keep at it and stuff. I'm trying to hold myself accountable and make sure that I get a real talk episode recorded for you guys for Tuesdays and get a story recorded for Fridays, because I remember when there was like 2 or 3 weeks that I just couldn't, when I was trying to actually sit down and write the stories, and I couldn't find time to actually sit down and write, so I just ended up having a bonus episode on Friday, and I felt bad those weeks because I was like, I'm committed to doing a story on Friday, but I haven't done a story for 2 weeks. It sucks. And then I said, I wonder if I could just, as an entrepreneur, as a podcast host, or as whatever role you might be trying to play in life, sometimes if something's not working, or you're struggling to do things the way you're currently doing them, sometimes you might have to do a little bit of a pivot. This is something like a little shout out to my mentor with the Legacy Builder business. Helped me out quite a bit, giving me a lot of great advice and stuff. It's one of those, like, when you come into the business, you gotta, when you're doing what we're doing, learning how to earn online, learning how to grow your following. It's basically one of the things is not only just consistency, but being coachable. So I really appreciate like a lot of recommendations and suggestions from her, because it's funny, like she's having the financial success that I'm after. I'm always saying, if you want to see the results that somebody else is having, follow them and do what they do. So she's having the financial success I'm after, but I'm doing, like, I do things as far as the way I promote the business, the way I'm, like, she doesn't do videos like I do. And so it's funny because she has the financial success I'm after that I'm not there yet, but I'm getting a lot more leads on my email list per day than she is. Like the other day, she's like, "That's like, you got like 100 leads on your email list in a week. I'm probably at like 5." I just laughed, like, "Well, yeah, but you're making the money, and I might be getting the email contacts, but And she's like, "Yeah, you'll get there." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." I was like, "It just, I just wish that I was there right now, but So But again, got kind of lost my train of thought there for a second. But it's just a matter of being consistent and doing what I gotta do, even on the days when I don't really want to do it. Because there are days, I'm not gonna lie, there are days when, you know, more often than I'd like to admit, where I wake up and yeah, I might have more, my email list might have grown. So it means that, you know, I know eventually that's gonna, like, cause what I've noticed is as that continues to grow, every week I do have more and more people who are, like, reply to my emails that go out automatically. So I'm really interested in just trying to get the money together, and I'm like, all right, cool, let's look into the payment plan options, because that might be a way for you to come in and not have to pay everything up front. Like, oh, really? Oh, cool. All right. Well, yeah. So I've got interest out there. That's why I said, like, you know, things are happening in my business. You know, the program works. The training the stuff they teach you how to do, it works. But it's just a matter of, you can't show up today and do it, and then show up next week and do it, and show up in a couple weeks and do it. I can't do an episode for you guys this week and then come back in another couple weeks, do another episode, and then give you a story in a couple weeks, and expect that my podcast, expect that the Blodgett Show is gonna, like, take off, and it's actually gonna, you know, do something. I have to literally, I'm trying to be consistent and be here every week for you guys on Tuesdays and Fridays. So, but I know I've rambled on long enough, guys. Basically, that was the main point of tonight's topic. Was just motivational struggles. You know, could be just we don't want to do it. Could be retired. Could be. I know that sometimes, some weeks for me, I'm sick. Like, I have to get an episode recorded, and I'm, like, congested, my throat hurts, whatever. You know, and I'm like, ah, man. And I've done a story before where I had been coughing so much that my throat hurt, and I would cough every couple minutes, like, have, like, push some crap out of my lungs. And so I'd be doing a story, and I would temporarily hit pause, grab a water bottle, chug some water, gurgle some water to kind of try to cool my throat down, try to get the itch out of it. Hit play or hit record again and keep going. And then pause again after a little while, take some more water, put the water bottle down, hit record again, and continue. I've had to do that just so I can get a story recorded, because, and it was me literally forcing myself to do it, because I was, like, so miserable that I was like, maybe I'll just skip the story this week. But I was like, no, I can't. I have to do it. Like, the way I look at it, whether it's the business I'm doing or the podcast, is in order for me to be successful at both of those. Not either of those, both of those. Because I plan to make this podcast a success, whether it takes a few years of me doing it, and I plan to be successful at what I'm doing online. Whether that takes a couple years to actually get to the results. You see these people with these huge followings. They're talking about, like, oh, we got 3,000 on my email list in, like, 30 days, and, you know, I made 130,000 in 6 months or whatever, 4 months. Actually, yeah, that was one of them made 6 figures in, like, 3 or 4 months. I'm like, oh yeah, but he had like 11,000 people on his list, on his following him on Facebook. I had like 18,000 following him on TikTok. So I was like, yeah, okay. But that's why I love. So I'll close it out with this. That's kind of why I love the business I'm doing, because it doesn't require, like, for you to be successful, you don't have to have a following. You don't have to start with the following. You literally start from zero. Like, not my mentor, but, you know, the lady that actually created this program, the Legacy Builder program, she created a community. And when she actually started with a brand new TikTok. So, and then within 6 months, I think she made 6 figures in 6 months. And then I'm pretty sure, like, for her first million, she made that in, like, a year and a half. A lot of people are like 6 figures in 6 months. Some of them were, like I said, 6 figures in a couple months, like 2 or 3 months. my goal for like the first 100K is like a year, but of course I'm like, hey, if it's like 2 years, 1 to 2 years, I can understand that, because I started without having really much of a online following, and now my business page on Facebook went from like 3,000 to like 16,500 followers, and my TikTok 100 followers to 640, and up until this past week, a lot of my videos I would post would hover in the 250 view range, like 200 to 250, and for whatever reason, I don't know what changed, but lately I've just been continuing to do what I'm doing, like consistent daily action, doing what I gotta do every day. A lot of those videos now, it's like I'm averaging 500 plus views on majority of them. I've had a couple of them that hit 700 views, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing different. Like, why I'm reaching more people. I just noticed that a couple days back, and I'm like, my videos are getting a lot more views lately. On average, like they're all like everyone I post 500, 550, 575. And a couple like 680, 665, and I had one that's like 790. And like, damn, all right, like. What's going on, but I'm just following the same steps that I've always been following since I followed the training and learned what I had to do. So it's one of those things that if you've never earned online before, if you want to learn how to monetize social media, learn how to grow your following and stuff, all organically without having to pay for traffic and stuff, pretty easy to do. Go to logicshow.com/freedom. Put your email in there, check it out. Reply back to my email with any questions you have. If you enjoy what you hear on this podcast, enjoy the stories, whatever, enjoy Real Talk Tuesdays, and you'd like to contribute, want to support the show, go to logicshow.com/support. For any suggestions as far as story suggestions, like story ideas, and that like a topic you think would be a good topic for Real Talk Tuesday, like something you want me to cover that I might have to put some research in and go see what it's all about and see what I can come up with for Real Talk Tuesdays or whatever. Feel free to drop me a line at logicsshowpodcast@gmail.com. If you're looking for a good podcast to listen to, I know he's kind of came back, but I know he did one new episode again, but he hasn't done a new one yet. But he's got a lot of really good episodes on his podcast that are available. It's one of those, like, it is like some creators out there, if they're not really seeing the support that they're hoping for, then they kind of back off, like, well, it's not working. But he's great. His music, his episodes, I thought were amazing. But of course, I'm good friends with him. So, but if you guys be willing to check it out, go check out my bro Rico's podcast. And I basically set up a page on my site that redirects to his Spotify. Basically, just go to logicshow.com/Rico, RICCO. Or go to logicshow.com, click the drop-down menu, and click on the word Rico, and it'll take you to his podcast. On that note, guys, I really appreciate you. You know what I always say, keep pushing forward, keep believing. Believe you can, believe you will, and you're already halfway there, and then you just have to go out there and do it. In closing, I hope you guys, hope you guys at least somewhat enjoyed tonight's Real Talk topic. I felt like it was pretty good, but I appreciate you guys. Hope everybody has a good rest of your week. I look forward to hanging out with you again on Friday when we do the next Story Time Friday. But on that note, you guys have a great rest of your week, and I will see you on Friday. Have a good one.